Hello everyone, welcome to another Barb Stamps video. My project today is part of the Stances Little Elves design team's countdown to Christmas. I am so excited to share these projects with you. I will have a new one on my blog every week, every Friday for the next 7 weeks, so come back and check it out. The projects are going to be cards, they're going to be 3D items, they're going to be all kinds of fun things for you to give for the holiday season. My first project uses the Snowflake Sentiments stamp set. And we've got some of the Merry Music Designer Series paper. We've got some of the powder pink shimmer ribbon. I forgot what this one was called. The lace trim. We've got our foil snowflakes here also. And the cards fit in this gorgeous acetate box. There's 4 cards with envelopes. Each of the card has a stamped envelope, and then I changed mine to say thank you because I thought that would be a great gift to give someone for Christmas. A set of thank you cards so they could use to send to their friends and family, thanking them for the gifts that they received. Be sure to check out the description box below this video, and you'll find a link to my blog where I will have a printable project sheet for you with the directions, cutting guide, and supply list for the projects that I will post on these Fridays. So to get started, you're going to need 4 crumb cake card bases. These are 8.5 by 5.5. 4 pieces of powder pink that measure 4 by 5 1/4. 4 pieces of the Designer Series paper. These measure 2 by 5 1/4. A couple of scraps of Very Vanilla and powder pink. These are 2.5 by 3.5. You will need a 6.5-inch piece of our lace trim, and then a 14-inch piece of the powder pink shimmery ribbon. So let's go ahead and put one of these cards together. Fold our card base in half. Bring my bone folder in here. Okay. Then we've got our powder pink. Bring in our 2 snowflake stamps. We're also going to be using a basic gray and powder pink to stamp our snowflakes. We're going to be stamping snowflakes on the half of each of these card layers because the other half is going to be covered by the Designer Series paper. So we're going to take our first snowflake, we're going to ink it up in the powder pink, stamp it off, and then stamp it onto the cardstock because you don't want this to be too overpowering. And we're only stamping the left side like I mentioned. And then we'll come in with some of these lighter gray snowflakes. Maybe one right there. Okay. Don't need ink again for a minute. Put that away before I make a mess. We're going to add our Designer Series paper to this side of the card. So I'm just going to get some snail here. And you can use whatever pattern you want. I'm using just the music notes. I'll just add that to the edge here. Just like so. Okay. And now we need to come in with our lace trim. I'm going to add a bit of snail across the top here. You can see I messed up on my first layer, so paper has 2 sides, so it's all good. Oops. Add this to the edge here. Get it where I want it, and then just flip it over the back and stick it to the snail. Same on this end here. Oh, I didn't get my snail in the right spot on that side. Okay. Get that around the back. Our next step is to add half of a silver snowflake. And we're going to add it just right here in the center, right at the edge of the Designer Series paper there. And we're going to have it covered up. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so that I don't get adhesive all over the place. Put a little bit right there in the middle. Okay. We'll just slide this underneath the ribbon and just bump it right along the edge there of the Designer Series paper. Okay, we've got that done. I'm going to bring in my greeting piece here. I'm getting a mess going on. Now, I wanted to change these up a little bit. The cards on the blog are Christmas cards, but I would like to give mine, I'm going to give these to a friend, and I'm going to make them thank you cards for her so that she can have some thank you cards to give out after Christmas for the gifts that she does receive. So I'm going to change mine to be thank you cards. So to do that, I've chosen one of the stamps from the Flourishing Phrases stamp set. The thank you so very much up here. It's just like the font, and it's just the right size. So I thought I'd go with that. So I've got that mounted here. We're going to bring in our basic gray again. Ink that up. And then we'll just stamp that right in the center here of this piece. That looks pretty good. And now I also want to add some powder pink snowflakes. Bring my scratch paper back in here. Just a couple of random ones near the bottom here. So I'm going to stamp off and just add a snowflake. Maybe we'll do two. Maybe we'll do one in each area, like so. All right. And then we're going to crop this along with this other piece of powder pink with some oval framelits and the Big Shot. All right, I've got the Big Shot in here, and I'm going to be using my layering ovals framelits, and I use a Sharpie marker to mark all my framelits, starting with the middle size of 1 all the way up through 7 for the straight ones, and then 1 through 8 on the scalloped ones. So I am using oval number 4. Let's see if I can get this centered since it's a little bit cattywampus on there for me. And then I'll bring this piece in. We're going to do the also number 4 scallop. And then these two will layer together nicely. Get that in, run that through. My thing always slides around unless I take my paper off here, so bear with me. Oops, that flew out of here. Okay, so now we have our little layering piece like this. Put the Big Shot stuff away. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of distressed look to this greeting, and I'm going to use my crumb cake ink and my powder pink ink. And I'm going to use some sponge daubers. You could use our Stampin' Sponges too, you know, whatever you want to use. I just like to add a little bit of color around the edges here, just kind of ages it a little bit. Okay, and then we'll come over here and get some powder pink. Also going to bring in my other piece that I have here, the Designer Series paper, and I'm going to add a little bit of aging around the edges here. Oops, I must have missed that snail. Okay, so we're just going to go on all the sides of the Designer Series paper. Just kind of aging it a little bit, if you will. Then we're going to also do the same thing, whoops, with the powder pink. And like I said, if you have sponges, you can use sponges instead of sponge daubers. I just happen to really like doing this technique with sponge daubers. So, okay, we've got that aged up a little bit. Now I think we're done with our ink pads. Okay, I'm going to add these two pieces together. A little bit of snail here. Whoops. It helps if you can see. All right. All right, so we're going to take the ribbon now, this beautiful shimmer ribbon, and we're going to zigzag it behind the greeting here. So we're just going to have it zigzag just ever so slightly coming out of the side there. About like so. Then I like to use some Scotch tape just to adhere that to the back. All right, and then we'll go ahead and snip this end off. And then we're going to add that to the card with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Bring in some dimensionals here. We'll go with 3 of them. Yeah, maybe 4. Stick that ribbon right there down. Peel the backings off. If you poke those backings with your fingernail, they seem to come off a little bit easier. Alright, so we'll just add that to the center of the card, about right there, I guess. And then we're going to add this to our card base of crumb cake. And you're going to make 4 of these cards for your gift. Okay, so we have the card, first card done. So you would make 3 more cards just like that. You'd also bring in some envelopes and do a little stamping on them. We're going to use those same ink colors. These are our very vanilla envelopes. Medium. So I'm going to bring the powder pink and the basic gray back in. So we're going to ink up the gray, stamp it off, add it to the envelope. Same thing with the pink. Add that to the envelope. And maybe we'll do another little gray one right down there. So then all your envelopes will also be stamped. So there, we can set those aside, and now we can work on the box. All right, for the box, we're going to need a full silver snowflake. We need a 2 1/4 by 11 inch piece of powder pink, a 2 inch by 11 inch piece of the Designer Series paper, and one of our acetate card boxes. Now they do come flat, so you're just going to fold on the crease lines and then tuck the ends in here. And so I've already done that. So now we're going to add our cards and envelopes. So we've got our stack of cards and envelopes here. Oops, I got a dimensional backing on there. Get that off. Okay, we're going to put those inside the box. Close it up. Okay, so I've got the cards in the box is closed. Now I'm going to do a little bit of distressing on the Designer Series paper, kind of what we did before with the other pieces. We're going to use the crumb cake again. And we're just kind of trying to make it look a little aged, sort of. So we're going to go all around the edges. And then we're also going to add a little bit to the front here. Just kind of slightly rub over it. Just to, again, add some more distressing to it. So it looks a little bit aged. Okay, and then we're going to also do that with a little bit of powder pink. Get that around the edges there. Just to add a little bit. And this is really random, so you don't have to be perfect at all. Now we're going to adhere these 2 pieces together. Get my scrap paper out of the way here. Bring in my snail. Okay. So we're going to center this on the piece of powder pink. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the box. So we're going to bring it to the back. Oh, we got some glare here. Sorry about that. And then we're just going to kind of fold it with our fingers. Actually, you know, I'm going to try using a bone folder. Where's my bone folder? Okay, let's see. Is that straight? I'm going to use my grid paper to kind of line this cardstock up with this line so that I can make a straight mark. And actually, I'm going to bring a ruler in here too. And I think I want to score it right here. Okay, that way I can fold it easily. Fold that over. Burnish it. Okay, and now this side, do the same thing. Find a line on the grid paper there, and we'll just follow that with the bone folder. Fold that side up. Okay, so now we have those 2 done. So now we're going to turn it over on its side. Bring in my ruler, figure out whereabouts I need it to be. About right there. And if you can just eyeball this and just fold it, just go right ahead. I'm kind of anal, so my brain won't allow that to happen. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now we got to do one more time here. Gonna line it up so it's on that dark line. Ruler again. And my bone folder just right up the edge of that ruler. Fold it, burnish it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, whoops, I want my cards to be right side up. I'm just going to bring these two ends together and I'm going to put some fast fuse on this side. Alright, so bring those two sides together. And I'm doing this purposely on the front because I'm going to be able to hide my seam. Slide that off. I'm going to be able to hide my seam with my greeting and my snowflake, okay? So, okay, so we've got that glued on there. We've got that nice and tight. So now we've got our snowflake that we can add. Something I forgot to do with my cards. I forgot to add clear faceted gems, so. We just need a clear faceted gem right here on all the cards. So we'll get the rest of them here in a minute. There, that's better. Now they'll all have bling. Bling is always good. Okay, so we've got our belly band on. We're going to add the snowflake. Bring in our silicone mat. Okay, and we're going to add the snowflake to the center of the band here, about like so. And now we need a greeting. And now I am going to use the Merry Christmas greeting on this because it's a Christmas gift. So I'm going to bring my basic gray back in here. I'm going to move that out because I see a glare on it. We're going to ink that up, stamp it here on our piece of Very Vanilla. I'm going to bring in the powder pink and add some snowflakes to the bottom edge. I'm going to ink that up, stamp it off, add a snowflake right there, and then I think one right there also. Just a little bit of color. All right, so now we're going to bring the big shot in again, and we're going to die cut this and another piece of powder pink. All right, we've got the big shot in here. This time we're using the number 5 ovals. So this is the 5th from the center. Whoops, I need this one to be scalloped. And then this one's just going to cut the greeting out. A cutting pad on the top. We'll roll that through. Okay, we've got our 2 pieces here. Get rid of the big shot. And now we need to do the same thing to this that we did to the other pieces. We're going to do some distressing on them. So we've got the crumb cake and the powder pink in here. And we'll just add a little bit of the crumb cake around the edge here of the greeting piece. Some powder pink along the edge. Okay, then we're going to glue these 2 pieces together. And use snail for this. All right, bring our card box back in here. And I'm going to get some more ribbon. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to zigzag it. So we'll start up there, fold it over, go across the back, fold it over again, and end up out here. Get our Scotch tape. Tape that down. Pair of scissors here to snip off the end. And then we're going to add this to the front with some dimensionals. Press your fingernail into those little guys, and that'll help the backings come off a little bit easier. It's a lot easier if you have a fingernail. Okay, and then we'll just set that on there, about like so. And then I also want to add a faceted gem to the front of this as well. Pop one off there, and we'll just stick that right over here. There. And there we have it. A perfect gift to give to somebody. We've got some thank you cards in there, and we've got a little Merry Christmas tag on the front, so it's going to make the perfect gift. Everything fits in there really nicely. And so that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you'd like to subscribe to the rest of my videos, please click the button down here in the corner. That will notify you when I upload new videos. Also, if you're looking for a new demonstrator or you need a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business at shoppingwithbarb.com. I do offer free gifts with purchase. You can check that out at my blog at barbstamps.com. And as I always tell you, I hope you have a wonderful day and a fabulous holiday season.